Welcome back to the podcast. I'm so excited to have Catalina joining us again. Hey, Kat, how are you?
Hey, how's it going?
You know what? It's going.
Long time no see.
I know, right? We just came back from PBX and are recording some content for the next couple months, and so we are both still recovering from the PBX flu.
So bad. So many people are so sick. It's crazy.
Yeah, but it was such a good time. I mean, you weren't able to be on the floor at all, which is so sad.
I saw nothing, like literally nothing. I didn't see the trade show floor even like in setup
I
other than
know.
the Breeze booth, every booth, and like Photobooth supply code.
I
So
know.
sad.
So sad, but yeah, you were definitely missed. But it was so great to meet everybody and kind of showcase Tortilla, which is our new product, and Fiesta. It was a super fun time. So yeah, it was my first time and a great time. So today we are talking about, I mean, it's the wedding season. We are ramping up into it. It is a huge, huge time for photo booth owners. If you are just coming into the industry, this is a really great time to come in because people are looking for photo booths for their weddings. How is the wedding season for you up in Canada?
So we only have a few months where we can actually do
Right.
weddings. Well, not that we can't do them year round, just most people prefer to do them when the weather's nice out, right? So at least our wedding season here in like Ottawa, Toronto, anywhere where it really snows is going to be starting in like May and then kind of goes right up until October. Usually for it ends on our Thanksgiving, which is
Yeah.
different than the United States Thanksgiving. So that's when we really start to ramp up. And our busiest months, though, are generally like September because it's not too hot. We get the worst of both worlds, right? We get the coldest winters and we
Yeah.
get the hottest, most humid summers known to mankind. So September is kind of like perfect. So that's when it's like our busiest time. But May is when we really start to see the weddings start happening. And that's when we get the last minute bookings, like those people who had some leftover budget and are really wanting to add a photo booth. But usually we book our weddings out at least 6 months in advance. Like
Yeah.
November through February is really wedding booking season, right? And then wedding doing season is the summer for us. What about you?
Oh, yeah. It's super similar when you said May to September, except in Florida, our like worst times to have a wedding are June, July, because it's super rainy. Every single day we'll have a rainstorm from like 3 to 5.
Oh, wow.
And it's just so hot outside that outdoor weddings are just like nobody wants to go to an outdoor wedding
Fair.
in the summertime in Florida. Mosquitoes, it's hot, it's humid, it's just a nightmare. So we do definitely have a dip in July for weddings, but it's super busy in May. And then yeah, August, it's still hot, so we'll have some. But then September, October, and even November, yeah, we'll have a lot of weddings. And yeah, again, like booking season is that November to February. I was booking a lot in January and February for weddings this year.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, so obviously, if you're just coming in to the photo booth business or you've kind of been around for a little while, you know that getting leads is one of the most important things, and getting wedding leads. And the question we see a lot in the groups is, well, how? How do you get wedding leads? Yeah, I would love to hear from you, Kat. Like, what's your response when someone says and asks you, how do I get wedding leads?
Oh, I have so many answers.
Right?
It depends, right? It depends on what your target audience is. Are you going after individual couples, right? Are you going straight to the client? Are you going after venues? Are you going after wedding planners? When I first started, I was already in the wedding industry, so I had a lot of connections in the sense of like I knew who photographers were, who planners were. I wouldn't say that our relationship was so good that I was like, hey, I started a photo booth business, start giving me business. But I at least knew who those players were, right? And how to get in front of them. And so for me, and I just did a whole talk about this at PBX, is getting in front of the right people, right? And for me, that's doing sponsored events. So figuring out what event I need to sponsor to get in front of the right people. And when it comes to weddings, that could be, you know, some sort of an open house at any type of venue, or a mixer. If, you know, the local wedding industry is having a mixer, then I'll set up a photo booth and just be there to like take photos with them. And like, we still to this day sponsor these events, right? Now it's just like maintenance.
Yeah. No, I love that.
But it's the best way to get your name out, especially if you're first starting out. And a lot of people are always like, oh, well, I want to get paid. Why would I do a free event? And one of the things that I said this year that really finally seemed to hit home with people was that, you know, we're always willing to spend money on Google and Facebook because we are like, oh, these are proven ad strategies, but we're never ready to invest money on ourselves. And we are literally the best marketers that we have for our own business. So
100%.
Right? Spend $100 to pay yourself to go and do this event with your photo booth so that you can talk about your company, because no one is going to be as excited about your company as you are.
Oh yeah, 100%. And what I think people forget too is like how often these venues that have your ideal clients literally coming to them have open houses and because they want to be booked and busy for the year. And so they're literally having open houses to draw people to come in, to check out their vendors, check out the venue, kind of imagine what it will be like to have their wedding there. Yep. And so that is, something that I tell people too is like, find venues that you think will have your ideal client coming and see when they have their open house and offer your booth. I did that for a local venue. And that's how I got one of my very first wedding bookings. Was I was like, hey, listen, I see you have an open house coming up. I would love to bring my booth. And they were like, they'd never had someone ask that before, which was like shocking.
Right. Crazy.
And and they're like, are you sure you want to do that? Like, I don't know if this will be a good place. And I was like, no, please, like, let me come. And I got a booking from it. I'm like, well, there you go. Like, my 1.5 hours of time ended up in like over $800 in value, even when I was just getting started. So and it also just kind of sets yourself up for success with that venue as well. It shows that you're taking initiative. It shows that you're able to come on time, and they're going to be way more willing to recommend you.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And even if like you don't have, you know, a venue out there, if you have a friend that's getting married, you know, these ones are less, I'm less inclined to do this, but if you're just starting out and, you know, you're kind of at that price point that you're more of what I like to call a commodity price point for photo booths, meaning that you're within a price range that most people will be able to afford, right? And you're not super niche, for example, yet, then doing a wedding and it just, you know, having subtle branding on your photo booth, you will get more leads from those weddings. Every wedding we go to, we get another booking or 2 or 3 out of, right? Because those people generally tend to hang out with the same demographic of people who have similar tastes, you know? There's this one family here that I'm pretty sure we've done all of the cousins, we've done all the sisters. I actually have, there's 4 sisters and we have their photo booths over the past 10 years.
Oh, wow.
I know, isn't that crazy? And then
that's so special.
We just did their dad's like 60th birthday party and like now we're moving on to the cousins.
I love that. Oh my gosh. Yeah, no. And yes, you're so right. Like taking the referrals, like you can't put a monetary value on referrals. Like once you're in and then they start referring you to their family and friends, it's like, that's been my year this year. It's been all referrals from friends and cousins. Oh, I attended this wedding and I saw you at this place and like my best friend, you know? And so that is also a huge part of it as well. Yeah, for sure.
Word of mouth is always going to be the best. Always.
Oh, yeah. Absolutely. So, yeah, understanding your market and where a target client is hanging out and targeting that and making sure that if you're doing free events or attending, you know, expos or bridal expos or open houses, that you're making sure that your ideal client is there. That's a definite first step.
Yeah, let's talk about bridal expos.
But go for it. Yeah, I would love to hear your insight on that because I've actually never paid to attend an expo. So I don't have firsthand experience, but I've definitely talked to a bunch of people who have, and I feel like what I'm hearing is 50-50. So I'd love your insight.
I mean, it's the same thing, right? Is your ideal client market going to be there? I tried them at the start. But remember, we're a bit higher price point, right? Like our smallest package starts at $2,500 for 3 hours. So the majority of our clients are not going to wedding shows. I find that people who go to wedding shows are people who are looking for deals, right?
Yep.
So you have to be within that certain bracket to be able to benefit from that. There's another Photobooth Supply Co owner who is in my city. Actually, there's 3 Photobooth Supply Co owners in our city that I'm very close with, and they do that show every year because for them it works, right?
Yeah.
Both of them are the 2 that I'm thinking of off the top of my head, very different targets within that same group though. So it's still beneficial for both of them to be there. And I love seeing them both there. Right.
That's so awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. So for them, that really works. For us though, when it comes to doing wedding shows, the only ones I'll consider doing are the ones that have an extremely high price point or are by invite only or are done by venues where they only, same thing, only invite certain vendors to come and participate in, but we haven't done a wedding show in I don't know how long. I'd much rather, again, sponsor the open house than to pay to be in a wedding show that I don't know is going to pay off.
That's so true. I think that's what's so scary is if you're going to this, there's no guarantee at all. You know, there's no guarantee they're going to get booked. Yeah. You'll have eyes on your booth. So I would say, based on what you're saying and then what I've heard other people say, like if you are planning to do one or want to do one, research who is hosting it and make sure that you're going to get out of it what you put in. I know like some don't even give like the list of attendees, like so you can do follow-ups like from email or stuff like that. And what's the point then? If you can't like, if you don't have it set up where you can follow up and provide like your information after the fact too, like, I don't know. It doesn't sound like it's going to be a win.
No, but they also get bombarded. You know
That's
what I
true.
mean? Like these people, by the time this wedding show is done, like the next day they're getting like 10, 15 emails. So like you almost have to like time your follow-up emails as well. And you have to offer a discount. Or some sort of, you know, deal.
Incentive.
Yeah, because if you don't, then, you know, it's going to be really hard to get anyone to sign on the spot, right? And that's the biggest thing is you need to get them on the spot to book. It's a bit harder for photo booth companies because we're still not like a necessity of the wedding. It's changing though, right? Like that landscape is changing. People are really starting to see the value in having a photo booth at their wedding versus having wedding favors that are like, you know, something consumable or something like that. So I see that change happening, but we're still usually if it's in the budget, you know? And that's something that I really hope continues to change over the next like 5 years until we become a staple, just like the flowers that are going to die in 24 hours.
I know, it's always so sad.
Oh God. Or like the cake that they spent $4,000 on and it's like, no one ate the cake.
No one ate it. It's still sitting there. Yeah, exactly.
Oh God.
Yep. So definitely, making sure you understand your market and then targeting it effectively. Important.
Yep.
So second thing would be building a strong online presence. I think if you go and put yourself out there, but you don't have any place for them to kind of check you out and see if you're all you're cracked up to be, and you don't have a website, you don't have a social media account, you don't have any kind of proof, you're gonna have a really hard time booking clients. Can you talk a little bit about like what building a strong online presence looks like?
I mean, that's a really tough one for a lot of people because I feel like that's the biggest roadblock that they get, right? Is how do you build a website? And it is a lot, right? If you don't know what you're doing, it's very complicated. Like most people, if you say, hey, do you know what a CNAME record is? Or like, you know, a name server, they're like, excuse me?
What are you speaking? Yeah.
Exactly. So I say for anyone who's starting out, do like the absolute minimum amount. Canva has websites now, right? Sure. Your domain's not going to be like something that you can pick off the get-go. I mean, I think you have that ability, but like Canva is going to be the easiest way for you to get something up there, right? And, you know, I think there's a lot of information out there. Brandon did a really great video. Oh my God, it must have been 5 years ago, but it's still relevant to this day. It's on YouTube, on the Photobooth Supply Co. YouTube channel. And he goes over like the most important things to have on your website, right? Obviously, you want people to know what it is that you do, what is the equipment that you have, because a lot of people are looking for those really nice photo booths. People are very educated on what photo booths look like nowadays.
Super true. Yeah.
You know, like,
exactly.
People come to us specifically and they're like, we want this retro enclosed booth. And I'm like, God damn it.
I don't have that.
Do you know I need to buy like a truck for that? Like, I do actually have 2 of them.
Wow.
But I am not about to load that onto a truck for less than like $5,000.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah.
So getting a website going up and running where people can contact you, it gives you also, it makes you look legit, right? People want to make sure that you have an actual website, you're an actual business. Take your, you know, your Instagram account. You have amazing resources on how to build your Instagram and your social profile, right? Like you can buy kits off your website and build your social media in like a day, make it look like you've been around for a lot longer than you have, right?
Yeah.
But people just want to show, like they want to see that you're a real company because there's so many scams out there. So don't overthink it. Just sometimes you got to do things quick and dirty, right? And fix it later.
100%. And one question I do see a lot is, people ask, should I have a website or a social media? And I'm like, no, you got to have both, first of all. Second of all, I would say at the very least a website first, because when you don't own your social media account, no matter how much you think you do, you don't. That could be gone tomorrow. Your account could get hacked tomorrow. You could lose everything tomorrow. So at the very least, you should have a website where you can direct people to book your services. So email account, website, booking platform if you can. Those are going to be super essential when you start. And clients are going to be looking for that because by the time they get to Photobooth, they've probably already booked a whole bunch of other vendors. So they have an expectation of the process. And if they come to you and you don't have a website and you don't have really like a solid booking platform or way to kind of secure a contract and get retainer and payment, it's going to make you a lot less professional looking. So it's a lot to think about when you get started, but those kind of things are super, super essential. And thank God, like Photobooth Supply Co. has incredible marketing materials that you can use and get really creative with. So you can use those on your website. You can use those on your social media accounts and really kind of establish yourself and establish like who you want to present yourself to your audience. And set yourself up for success. I still use like the Photobooth Supply Co. marketing stuff on my website. Like I love it. It's so good. And it's such a great resource. And I think one of the huge benefits of Photobooth Supply Co. Is that you have access to all of these incredible marketing materials as soon as you sign on.
Yeah, and it's like photos, videos, outputs, there's flyers, contracts, like all this stuff is, people don't realize just like how much you need that until you don't have it, right? Like the people who buy from just like Amazon or Alibaba and stuff, and they buy this like photo booth that doesn't even come with a case. It's like night and day when they go to a company that offers them like everything, right? Like, I always think that's so funny when I see people are like, I ordered this from China, and I'm like, it came in a cardboard box. How are you going to carry that? And I see them like wrap it up in a towel and throw it in the back of their like truck, and I'm like, oh my
man.
God.
Yeah. Oh no. It is such a huge blessing to have everything in a box, really. A business in a box with Photobooth Supply Co.
That's exactly what it is.
Yeah. And we kind of talked about this earlier, but another way to get wedding leads is making sure to take advantage of all of the networking and partnership opportunities. Can you talk a little bit about that?
I mean, just talking with like, there's so many different ways we can look at this, right? Within the photo booth industry itself, right? You want to become friends with people in your area. So many people see each other as competition. And if everyone just understood how much better it is when you're not competing with these people anymore, but you're collaborating with them. Like I am very close friends with literally the biggest competition in all of Canada.
Wow.
is someone who I speak to on a daily basis. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it would be a very different situation if we weren't like that. But we have actually gotten, we've worked on projects together, right?
Wow.
That have been mutually beneficial to us in tens of thousands of dollars in revenue because of that partnership we have. And it's the same with some of the smaller companies too in this area. Like Lexine, for example, is another one who's very predominant in the photo booth, industry. She's in my city, right? And she does hundreds of events, but we share staff because she has a lot of staff and sometimes I don't have enough. We share equipment. If one of her booths goes down and she'll be like, I need help. I'm like, yeah, go to my warehouse, pick up whatever you want. You know what I mean? Like, and that's just something that is so amazing to be able to have. And same with overflow. If we ever have like a wedding that we can't service, maybe they're out of that our price range, then we'll refer them to her, right?
Yeah.
Or if there's something super specialty that she has a client and that is looking for maybe a really high-end 360, for example, that's before she did them, then she would send them to us, right? So there's that collaboration and networking, but then also just within the industry itself, right? Just go out to those events. You don't always have to be selling. It's just also just getting to know these people.
Exactly.
Being present in the Facebook groups. Like, I know Facebook is kind of old school. It's never going to go away.
No, it's still relevant. Yeah.
Yeah.
People are still looking and going there for recommendations, and there's so much power in recommendations, right? Like you don't want to just go blind into looking for a vendor. You're probably going to seek out your friends, your family, and then if they can't give you anything, you're going to go to a Facebook group,
Exactly.
to ask.
But there's always like little community wedding groups and stuff like that you can be part of, and then just join that conversation, right? Get to know people. The other thing I really love is I don't know if this is a thing where you are, but a lot of people do styled shoots, especially during the off season.
I love styled shoots.
Right. And so they'll ask like, oh, we're looking for anyone who's, looking to participate. And this is a great way for you to not only get some good photos of your photo booth in action, but to get to know all these people, right? They're going to be there all day long. You can network with them, talk to them. And then just through, normal conversation, what you guys do is going to come up. They're going to know you by face now. And people are so much more inclined to refer someone who they've met in person than to refer someone who they've only ever seen online. Right?
100%. And then they're probably going to get in the booth. If you have a photo booth set up, those photographers and makeup artists are going to get in the booth and then share those photos to their audience, which increases your, reach exponentially. I can't talk highly enough about styled shoots. Like, you get all of these incredible photos of your equipment in a beautiful venue, and it's an opportunity for you to also, like, if you are brand new into the industry and you haven't tried something out, like maybe a video guest book, or you don't really have good content of gifts and boomerangs to showcase, this is a great opportunity to do all of that. I did that once at one of my preferred venues, and I was like, I want to try out using the video guest book feature, but like birth recording singing. And so that's what I did. I had the fake bride and her little bridesmaids all like sing a song together, and it's like one of the most viewed videos on my Instagram. It's like super cool.
Nice.
So yeah, it's a great opportunity to like get great photos, network, and get to know a bunch of people, increase your reach. I love style shoots. And if you are trying to get into a venue that you haven't been able to like get in yet or get on the preferred vendor list, it's a great way. To, again, show that you can do what you say you can do.
Yeah, style shoots, oh my God, they have so much power too, because then after the fact, they have to tag every single person.
Yeah, right? It's required,
Yeah, so every time that they share that image, it's going to have your tag on there, and you're going to be everywhere, right? How many vendors? Like, there's like 10, 15 vendors at any given styled shoot.
Exactly.
That means that 10, 15 of them are going to be sharing your company information. Obviously, you need to do the same. But still, like, it's such a powerful way to get in and get leads from people who have clients and all that kind of stuff. But we've given 3 or 4 options. There's one more that I don't know if we want to talk about. Let's talk about the knot and wedding wire.
Let's go for it.
I feel like, though, honestly, Nicole, we should potentially break this one out, tell people You guys should tune into the next one because I feel like we're going to go deep into wedding wire and the knot. But I'm curious because some people love it and some people hate it.
Yeah. Are you asking me what I think? Mm-hmm. I looked into it because obviously when you're first starting, you want to get your name out there whatever way possible, and everyone talks about it. Everyone's a part of it. At least it feels like it. All the photographer friends venues are all showing up on Knot and Wedding Wire. And to be honest, the reason why I didn't choose it and didn't go forward with it was because it terrified me to be signing any sort of contract that required me to commit to a year of paying these really high fees. Especially starting out when you're not sure on your income and you're kind of just trying it out. You don't know like what it's going to be like. I think it can feel like a good idea, but I would just strongly caution that anytime you sign a contract, it feels like, you know, the Little Mermaid where she's like signing away her voice. Like that to me is what it felt like. Like, do I want to sign away my voice? I don't know about this.
Oh my God, that is so true.
Have you tried it?
So no. Where do I even start with this one? I feel like there's just so much to unpack here, and there's a lot of things that I want to like. There's like a whole progression I want to go through. So let's save that one.
Perfect.
For the next episode. Yeah, because there's a lot that I need to go over for that one.
That sounds good. Yeah, I know that a lot of people talk about this. Mm-hmm. It's like a daily topic on the Facebook group. So I think, definitely tune in for our next podcast episode where we'll talk about all of those platforms.
Oh my God. But in the meantime, there is a download that we can give our listeners today, which is actually a flyer that is normally part of the marketing material that you get included. This is just one sample of the marketing material you get included with Photobooth Supply Co. booths, but this is a Canva flyer that will, kind of help you put together all the information. Because that's another thing, right? People have a really hard time trying to figure out like, what is it that I put in a flyer or like on my website, and then they just put everything. Yeah.
Too much information.
Too much. You got to simplify it. So we'll put that in the show notes, and you can download that Canva flyer. You can update it with your photos, but it really outlines like a nice clean way to put your information on there, regardless of, whether you have like a salsa booth or a guac booth or a tortilla or anything. You can put your images in there, or if you have a booth from another company, that's fine too. But that's I think that's a really good start for people to download that and have that to give away, to put it in emails, have it handy so that when you're ever introducing yourself to someone and they're like, well, what do you do? Do you have any more information? You can be like, actually, I do.
Actually, I have a flyer.
Yeah.
There you go.
So,
exactly. Perfect.
Yeah.
That's so exciting. I love being able to do a giveaway that will actually like be helpful and that you can take and use immediately. So yeah, definitely check that out in the show notes. We talked about a lot of things today, Kat. Thank you so much for taking the time to share your wisdom on, getting wedding leads and starting off this wedding season with a bang, and we shared a lot of tips on like how to get those first initial ones. So let's continue this conversation in the next episode on what to absolutely avoid. All right, we'll see you guys in the next one.
See ya.